Welcome everybody to Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans, right here on the YouTube, on the Twitch, wherever you get your podcast, audio worldwide. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Glad you can join us tonight. There was some debate on if there'd be a show tonight, but figured at least do a quick review because there was a new match. If you weren't paying attention, you may have missed it because it kind of fell in the middle of the show there. But there is a new match, new turkey trot match. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the highlights from the history of the different Thanksgiving themed episodes of Impact. And then obviously feel free to bring up any topics, news wise, but obviously on Thanksgiving, let us know. Feel free to put in the chat what you're thankful for, maybe what you had to eat, favorite main side, whatever, dessert. Could be a little bit of everything, but definitely thanks to the TNI fam for being here today. This is obviously a show for all you guys, so feel free to chime in. It's good to see Terrence, Mayor, Justin, who was also at the match that was shown on the show tonight. So just kind of taking a look, you got the old pumpkin pie, rice stuffing Sprite. So that's a little bit. So this is kind of what everybody had here. Terrence went all out. Love it. Gotta go turkey. But just checking out. Dr. Gerb's in the chat. Great to see. But we'll kind of go over that. Bonkers in the chat. Good to see you, Bonkers. But we will, news-wise, not a ton going on. There is the survey out that Impact put for different nominations for like Match of the Year, Best of the X Division, Knockout of the Year, Breakout Star, Tag Team of the Year. So definitely that's something to take a look at. There is some new merch. I believe Trey Miguel has a new t-shirt. And then there is the eBay store actually has added a number of items, some chairs used, turnbuckle. So there's definitely some new merch out there for Impact as well as we head in to Hard to Kill and the return of TNA right on the horizon. So some cool stuff happening for sure. I know there is WrestleCade this weekend. So anybody going to that, I was at that last year. Pretty cool event. I went to I know Johnny Swinger is doing it again. He had his whole little party, his get together, which is cool. But did it last year. I'm not the biggest convention guy. And like I went for the shows. So it's something where maybe you go every once in a while, depending on the theming. And it was more Impact related, but that was just by luck. So, but that's going on. They're Impact wise, not a ton of other news out there. Just double checking to see if I had any other notes on anything we really needed to go over, but nothing huge. I think we'll see more. I know Leon Slater from the UK had mentioned that he would be at the tapings because I believe it was the Orlando tapings. I don't know if he mentioned anything about the Vegas taping. So that's a good sign of someone on the horizon to see actually join the show. And yes, Terrence, there is the Impact Almost TNA AAA show Sunday, which obviously I think you can stream live, but it will be shown on Impact on Access TV and the YouTube Ultimate Insider at a later date. I don't think they confirmed when. But I'm sure it'll be some of this time that we're filling through the holidays. So I know IPWF is going to be like that, and it feels like so it'll probably be random matches here and there, kind of been put together as we're kind of seeing with these last couple weeks. So should be something definitely cool to check out. But anybody else? T. Hughes, good to see you here. Happy. Well, I know you're overseas, so. Happy Thursday still, even though it's this U.S. Thanksgiving evening now at this point. And who knows, I was in the Discord, and definitely, if you haven't, check out the Discord, because if you're here, if you're in the chat, if you're not in the chat, even the lurk in the Discord keeps you as up to date on everything TNI as being here live during the show or watching it on replay. So definitely check out the Discord, get in there. All the regulars are in there, but you don't have to. If you want to comment, but if you don't prefer not to, that's fine as well. A lot of good information back and forth goes on, so definitely check that out. And don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications, for you can check us out anytime. But I'll get into the review now. Obviously, it's mainly a highlight show for the Thanksgiving, so I'll go over the different matches. We don't have to spend a ton of time on them, but anybody with any comments, feel free. We can kind of go down memory lane, but that's kind of how we'll go. And then, as I was talking about on the Discord, when I said, well, I'll do the show solo just to get it out there, because probably won't be till next Thursday that we'd be back. And who knows, maybe halfway or near the end of this show, it will be an After Dark. So who knows? That could come, but I'm not going to redo it. I'm not going to start a new stream. I'll just switch it to After Dark, see how we're going. But this is the Thanksgiving special, the November 23rd edition of Impact Wrestling on Access TV and the YouTube Ultimate Insiders. So obviously we get Matthew Raywald, Tom Hannafin, kind of giving us the setup for what we're going to see here. And it's pretty much highlights of all the different Turkey Bowl, Turkey Trot, all the Thanksgiving theme matches and angles on the TNA Impact Wrestling history. So kicking off, it's a 2008 Turkey Bowl matchup where they had the cash, like it was the turkey suit plus a cash incentive of $25,000. Where you had Alex Shelley versus Rhino versus, at the time, the X Division champion, Sheikh Abdul Bashir. So that match, and it's kind of surprising because we have our world champion right now, Alex Shelley, in this match. And he is the one that actually lost this match when Rhino pinned him. And obviously there was, as there always is, nobody ever wants to wear the turkey suit. So, but Shelley did have to wear that turkey suit. And at the time, the director of authority type back then was Mick Foley. And you get that first thread of, well, if you don't wear it, you're going to lose your job, which comes into play for this year as well. And doesn't want to do it. Flips Mick Foley the bird. Mick Foley and him get into it, but he after he put on the suit. But that was kind of how you started everything. So interesting way seeing Alex Shelley, who dons the turkey suit. But we go right into the one for this year, and that probably wasn't made clear enough. They do say it's the 2023 Thanksgiving Gravy Train Turkey Trot, but that's brand new, never aired before. That I know because of the length of the match. I understand what they did with the main event, but I may have had this because I would either had to kick it off or be the main event because it's just the newest match. But this is the current one, and that is so it's interesting. We get Tom and Gia Miller on commentary for that. So I don't know if it was always designed to be that way, or if it was maybe going to be through a BTI at some point, and maybe that's why it wasn't exactly placed maybe right. But you got a team of PCO, Jake Something, Mike Bailey, and the Swing Man, Johnny Swinger, going against Raj Singh, John Skyler, and Jason Hotch, the Good Hands, and Jay Vidal. Ends with PCO hitting the PCO salt on Jay Vidal. Then same thing, doesn't want to wear the turkey suit. You got to get Gisele gets in there, Savannah gets in there. Jay's getting out. He's trying to get out of there, but then he gets the threat of being fired. So they do eventually, after some big circumstances there, as Justin can attest to, who was there live. He finally gets it on. So we do get it. So that was very amusing to see. Going in there, I was thinking Skyler, but then it did happen. It did happen that it was Jay. So not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Entertaining. Barry Monkey here says it. Johnny Swinger and Mike Bailey are a tag team that I never knew I wanted till tonight. I agree with you. Johnny Swinger in there, I know he's the comedy, but this is where you can get creative. And in this match, they were able to get creative with the likes of Johnny Swinger, working with people like Mike Bailey, who were usually obviously much more serious in how they are in ring. And Terrence, I agree with you. Like, I'm a big fan of Ray Walt and Hannafin together, but Gia and Tom, they were excellent. The commentary was excellent in this. Obviously, Gia was going all over her turkey, her Thanksgiving, and all the sides and everything that she was enjoying. So it brought another element to it. So definitely something to take a look at. If you didn't, and that's another reason to check back on some of that BTI. If you haven't checked out BTI, go back and check it out. Couple questions in there. Yes, Deanna, she'll definitely be at Hard to Kill. Not sure in what yet, but no doubt about that. I'm sure we'll see some more coming up. Who knows? Maybe even during the week, some details. But now Bonker's talking about could Camille come to TNA? I think there's a possibility. Obviously, her husband, the former Bram, is in NWA, and that's where she is. So I don't know. I'm sure it'll be kind of like a handshake deal, but it wouldn't shock me. I think they definitely will be making some changes as we get into the TNA era. So just making sure, just catching up on that. All right, so we go from there to the 2016 Turkey Suit Challenge. Robbie E versus Grado, who we just saw return at the UK tapings. Definitely want to see him. Definitely see him come back again. And we had that Aiden O'Shea on the outside, but definitely I was there for that one. That was a good one. The crowd got into it. Grado takes the loss here. Robbie gets the win, but Grado puts it on and he starts dancing. He enjoys it. You can't go wrong with Grado. So hopefully we see more Grado, but that was your 2016 Turkey Suit Challenge. Then we get a very memorable the Thanksgiving dinner with Rockstar Spud from 2013, which got all kinds of craziness going on in there. Just turned into a complete melee. Let's just see here. Another question from T. Hughes. Do you think Impact should start filming new skits for Thanksgiving episodes instead of relying on old ones? I would think, since they did have like a new match, it would have been nice to maybe fill in that with a little bit. Like, I know even on their social media today, they had like probably filmed by the talent themselves, like Alex Shelley, Chris Bay, like kind of giving thanks. I would have put those probably on the show if possible, but they may have been last minute. But I would try. I don't think you have to do a whole show about it. Like, you can still use some of that old footage, the highlights over the years, but I probably would have tried to get a nice balance and have a little bit more on the current product. So if you could have had, like I said, a couple of those, maybe do one or two backstage skits with it, that would have been fine. So we'll see. Maybe next year for TNA, we see a little bit more. Happy Thanksgiving to Chris LeClaire. All right. So we go from that to the 2017 Turkey Trot. Another good one I was at. That was, and this is a period of TNA impact that probably doesn't get the credit it deserves. Now people look back at it as well, like, well, oh my goodness, they had this. But at the time, people weren't giving it its due. But this, obviously, Eli Drake was not in this match, but it was his whole event pretty much. But you had a team of Angel Garza, Eddie Edwards, Falaba, Richard Justice, a standby wrestler, and Alley versus Caleb Conley, Laurel Van Ness, otherwise known as Chelsea Green, KM, Chris Adonis, and El Hijo de Fantasma. Very, very big fan of this one. Eddie gets the win, pinning Chris Adonis. So he has to get on the turkey suit, and then a big food fight. And I still remember I think it was some turkey fly on me and some mashed potatoes. I think both kind of got me at one point during this Festivus. So that was a good one. That was good fun. And that takes us to the main event of the evening, and obviously is because of the players in there. Our current X Division champion, Chris Sabin, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles from the 2007 Turkey Bowl. Once again, had that $25,000 for the winner, and then the loser gets the turkey suit. So Samoa Joe gets the win on this one. Good match, because these guys were putting on great matches during this era all the time. And then AJ actually, the phenomenal turkey, is winning the suit. So he was in there, which was quite amusing. So AJ did not look thrilled, and I don't think, other than Grado, I don't think many people enjoy wearing it. So T Hughes asking, was it cold? I think it was at least room temperature. It was not warm. If it was either room temperature or getting to cold. Oh, there's a question from Dr. Gerbs. Food fight. You're only able to arm yourself with one thing. What are you throwing? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because a lot of Thanksgiving food, like stuffing, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, they'd be all over the place. They'd just be a mess. Like a roll, very easy to maneuver. It's like throwing a snowball. Solid. I'd go roll. But who knows? Let us know in the chat if you have any thoughts on what you'd throw in a food fight. Not that we're endorsing food fights. But that kind of takes us, that's pretty much the matches and the special tonight. So, now that we kind of talked about that, anybody else with any more, what you either did today, what you ate, anything like that? If not, then I'm going to quickly steer it in a different direction, because I know the people have been asking for it. So we're going to get a record. Well, we're almost at it. At the 20-minute, we're 10 seconds away from a 20-minute marker. And we're just going to go right into review done. And we're going full blown for the first time in a long time to After Dark. So After Dark, this is Thanksgiving After Dark. So for all of you that don't know what After Dark is, it's a long-time TNI show staple that would go on after reviews, after pay-per-views, and this is where pretty much anything can go. You can bring up any topics. It can go in any direction. Now, usually there's multiple people here. So as a solo right now, After Dark, you can bring the questions. Feel free to ask me anything you want. Nothing's out of bounds. And we'll kind of go from there. There was no set agenda for tonight. But it is Thanksgiving. It's a holiday. So why not? So I see a lot of the regulars, a lot of after dark veterans, shall we say. But we'll see, because I originally was saying that this could be about a 30-minute show, but we'll kind of see where it takes us. But anybody with any comments, feel free. Let us know. Like, maybe sticking with the theme could be, is there a memorable Thanksgiving experience at some point? Did anything because Thanksgiving, it can be a great time, or it can be a time where things get out of hand. There could be arguments. There could be all kinds of crazy things that happen on a Thanksgiving. Favorite Thanksgiving meal? Well, that is it feels right to have turkey. At times, like when you're talking Christmas, I think I prefer ham. But Thanksgiving, turkey, it does feel right, because I'm a big turkey guy anyway, so I eat my fair amount of turkey. But for a day, like doing the big bird, and shout out to my current company who actually gave me a turkey this year. So that was a nice surprise. I got about, I don't know, about 10 days ago. So that was very cool. And I'm a big fan of that. I don't have cranberry sauce that often. I probably wouldn't like it more than once or twice a year. So I do enjoy that. Stuffing's always fantastic. But that more of a turkey guy. More of a turkey guy. Let's see here. What time is it, Barry, in your neck of the woods over there? I know it's probably the middle of the night. Uh, and you don't even get a damn t-shirt. Terrence asks, what venue would like TNA to go in 2024? That's an interesting question, Terrence. One, greedily, if I'm being greedy, I'll say back to the 2300 arena, since it's been a while. However, to not be greedy, I will say, I don't know if this is the year, but it would be good for TNA to go back to the Manhattan Center, which is the grand ballroom that they played years ago, not the Hammerstein. I don't think that. I think the grand ballroom would be more fitting, unless they wanted to do like maybe a Bound for Glory or something in New York City. But they've been doing a lot in New York, but kind of not in the city, outside the city. I think that would be optimal. But once again, I know that venue's very expensive. Most wrestling companies don't run it. GCW last did, and I heard they lost their shirt. So it was not a good business decision. It would have to be a good business decision too. Bonus baby, happy Thanksgiving. But yes, the thank all those in the service throughout the world in the armed forces, because obviously most of them are, obviously they're all away from their families. So definitely thanks to everybody that's either in the chat that has served in the past, the veterans, or is obviously currently serving. If you're hearing this somewhere on a podcast, we definitely thank you here. The TNI fam thanks you. Now, here's an interesting one, because I did think about this for an After Dark topic. Barry's talking about Black Friday in the UK, the worst of both worlds. No Thanksgiving, but you get that. And let us know. Let me know. What are you doing? Are you guys, any of you here, in the Black Friday? Do you go out? Like, do you do like midnight stuff, which I don't even know if it's happening since COVID, or 5 a.m. somewhere, or are you just doing stuff online, which used to be just Cyber Monday, but now it's kind of all Black Friday and on. So let us know, because obviously it can get crazy out there. Speaking of, I just recently, the other night, saw the new Eli Roth Thanksgiving movie, and that's kind of one of the Black Friday idea is actually part of the storyline that goes into it. But that I enjoyed it, recommend it. I still remember seeing Grindhouse and that being one of the trailers, and I was like, they should make that movie, and they did. D. Hughes. Yeah, Scott Moore always following people. Qatar, so maybe a taping or Australian style tour. Ooh, maybe it wouldn't shock me, because we know other parts of the country are trying to get professional wrestling there. We saw with the Impact filled in for New Japan for that Australia tour, and then obviously they just did the UK tour. Would not shock me. It's been a while, Dr. Gerbs, but yeah, Trenton. I know they ran there now quite a while back. Be very easy for me, greedily. Online for Justin, yeah, I pretty much that's where I am at. Although I may do a little running around tomorrow. We'll see. Um, it all depends. I'll probably do a closer look to see if there's anything that really warrants me. If not, I'll keep it very local to like stores just in the vicinity. Bonus baby, I can't help but agree with you on that. Wonka does not look great as a big Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka fan. And I am a early Tim Burton fan, but the one with Johnny Depp is just so bad. And then this one, maybe it's better than it looks, but and at least it does have more acknowledgement for the original. But still, it's a worry for me on that because I do very much enjoy the original. And that's someone that did come down to Will Ospreay officially signing with AEW. Do you think we'll see Will Ospreay in TNA ring in 2024, either Snake Eyes TV tapings or the Florida tapings? I think there's a chance, because I don't think that just would all been said for no reason about him coming back. Now, I think if he does come back, it'll be very similar because obviously, I gave credit on the reviews previously. Will put over Impact TNA huge while he was doing the shows, so that was great to see. But obviously, he did also go over, like he won over Josh, and not many people have beaten Josh Alexander, so that was big too. But now he signed somewhere else, and we know a lot of us, including myself, had issues with a lot of the booking dealing with AEW talent over time, where they almost could never lose. And I think you might get it, but based on what the match is, it'd be something where obviously you would have that same issue because it's the same way even on the indies. So I don't think I'd put, if I put a percentage of likelihood on Will Ospreay working TNA this year. Now, are you saying beyond a special like a multiverse show? I think that's more likely, but an actual TNA full brand show, I don't have a lot of confidence in it. I'd put it at maybe about 25%. But we'll see. I guess it was a 3-year pact. I think it's more likely maybe years from now that he works for TNA in some capacity. Oh, Justin, you have my sympathies for working on Black Friday, because that just looks like the worst thing in the world. Mayor asks, who will be the first surprise happening at Hard to Kill, whether it be a return or a debut? Ooh. That's a tough one. Who will be the first surprise? I think it'll be more likely a return than a debut. Maybe someone not from the too far past. It's a good question. I got to ponder that for a bit. Always a good thing. Don't expect anything. And then if you get anything, you get a little bit excited about it. Nothing wrong with that. There's Critical Sting processing somewhere. Steve will be the new DMC by the time Hard to Kill ends, right? Ooh, that's a. I think he will. I think he will eventually take that because it felt like too much of a build with the Tom Hannafin interviews for him not to get it at some point. So yes, will it happen at Pandora Kill? I'll say this: I think it will happen by the conclusion of the Florida tapings, which then would not air until sometime in February. So that's, I think, during the first 2 months of next year, I think there will be a change probably with that title. Terrence, I feel Final Resolution will be a newsworthy pay-per-view because I feel we get 2 or 3 hard-to-kill pay-per-view matches announced and then new TNA titles revealed to the champions. I do think you'll get a much more on the hard-to-kill matches for sure at Final Resolution. I think they'll probably hold off on the titles until the actual hard-to-kill pay-per-view or released that weekend, like maybe Friday or earlier on Saturday. That's what I think they'll wait on that. But I'm very interested to see how much they use old style or try to create a new style. And let us know in the chat. Is there any that you have a preference for? And bonus baby, yeah, this is similar to Kenny Omega. Would you have liked to see Ospreay sign with TNA? Yeah, definitely we all would have liked to see that. But thankful for the 3 bangers with Impact. Agreed. So it's once again like there he had that little bit of a connection to TNA years ago during the that UK tour, but to actually have him now be a part of the company's history, you can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong there. And then yeah, those are named Mustafa Ali. I want to be a band name for TNA. Critical Sting just can't take it anymore. Any more Dreamer. I get you. Although I do think he's done a good job with it. I know that's not the popular opinion, but I think he does. Like he's bringing on indie shows. He's bringing on Busted Open. So I can't say he's not doing anything with it. And here's what a good question. Do you reckon the DMC makes the TNA transition? I think that is up for debate. Because there was always that title that I think it will. Because there's been so many versions of that other mid-card title. We saw it as, obviously, the global title, the King of the Mountain belt. There was the Legends title. There were so many, the Grand title. So I think it will stay as digital media because I think they were early on that. Digital media kind of is the new version of a TV title. And I think there should be something like a TV title. So digital media, not a bad way to do it. So I'm okay with that. I think it will make it. And then we'll see if those teases were right, where Rosemary will be making a return. Oh, yes, there. I don't know, Mayor. I think no. Oh, Justin, tell us what you really think about the Grand Championship. I think it had potential, but then it was just done badly. They were trying that MMA crossover, but then the judges thing was not good. It could have been done a lot better, but they tried. Barry Monkey. Now there's something I agree with. Do you think we might get a World Cup? Team Canada, Team USA, Team Mexico, Team UK, maybe Team Asia with Indian and Japanese wrestler. I do think we'll see a return of the World Cup because it feels like now that they're going more globally, you have had the Australia tour, you've had the UK tour, they're doing the show with AAA. It does feel like the right time to have a World Cup at some point in 2024. And that was a staple in TNA, one that actually Trent, I think, was that the no, it wasn't the first time I met Trent, but at one of the tapings we were both at in Florida was a World Cup being done. Eric Isaac in the chat. Good to see you. Let's see Rosemary and Havoc come back to TNA as well. Sue Young, even though I like Courtney and Jessica, the current Death Dolls. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, yeah, and Destination X. Bring it back. Bring back Destination X. Bring back, we need the knockouts. Knockdown again. And honestly, see, we talk about it's good timing. We're talking about the holidays and the shows near the end of the year. I bring it up, but I think this time every year. One of my favorite events that Impact has done was the Knockouts New Year's Eve show. I think going into New Year's, having a Knockouts like tournament, a one-night tournament, like the Knockouts Knockdown in a way, would be very cool. I think that's good timing for it. But once again, we'll see what they do, because I know there's like IPWF and some other good stuff coming near the end of the year. But I think that's another way, more knockouts, not a bad thing as we get into the return of TNA. All right, guys, we're getting close to 40 minutes, so let us know. And hey, it is after dark, so I don't think there's any crimes to talk about, unless Justin will attest that the Grand Championship was a crime against humanity in his mind. So I don't know about any of that. But and who knows? Who knows what could be going on? Bonus baby, Grand Championship, great concept, poor execution. Maybe Jonathan Gresham can revive it with a pure rules feel. Use the Legends Global Television kick of the mounted belt. We got the Talking About podcast in here. Two things I'd like to see going forward: return of the BFG series. Not a bad idea as well. And clearly defined rules for option C. Not wrong, because they kind of, well, it feels like the rules got a little not specific this year, because you have option C that's been out there. We've kind of seen how that's been used. But then you had the Feast or Famine briefcases that seemed like they had, like, all of a sudden this rule where you can't cash them in, but where it feels like at times in the past they have, like, you got to kind of set your matches. So being clear on all that would probably be a good idea if it's going to be used often. And Justin hits the nail on the head. Another event we were supposed to get in March of 2020, the Lethal Lockdown, or a cage match. It's still shocking to me that there has not been a cage match in so long. I get the hassle, but for a set of TV tapings that aren't live, it's the perfect opportunity to do it, unless you do something like Lockdown, where it's going to be there for the whole show, so easy enough to do it live. But just to get it in the rotation, I think that would be something that would definitely get people interested, because it's like, you don't have to overdo it, but you need a cage match at least once every 2 years. Lockdown, obviously, that was yearly for a long time. So at least like once a year, you kind of need a cage match. Yeah, Sting, once cage used option C, it's been loosely used since then. It has been. It's become more common. Terrence Sullivan could sign one knockout and one star. Has never been in TNA before. Who would you sign to TNA or use it? Free agents, Terrence? Or are you saying non-free agents? Sounds like you're saying almost non-free agents. Let me know, and I will get back to that, Terrence. Yeah, 2019 for a cage match in Impact TNA. That's because it isn't like they're not doing like violent matches. Like it isn't like they're trying to like with a cage match. There's like an expectation of color. So obviously coming out of the pandemic and all that, those issues, like you could be under, all right, maybe veer away from matches that have that. But they're doing Monsters Ball. They're doing all that. So I don't think that's the issue. T. Hughes, I'd be okay with Elevation X. I don't know if a lot of people would be. Because I think there's a lot of people that weren't fans of Elevation X. It's almost like the six-sided ring concept. It's like some people, like a vocal minority, are very interested in it, but not overwhelming. And I don't think the actual wrestlers want Elevation X back. Free agents as of December 31st. I'd have to look at it because I haven't been paying much attention to the free agent class per se. But if we're talking about like the recent releases, things like that, like it all depends. Like there's nobody I really look at and be like must-gets out there that will like change any needle being moved for the company. I think this need to be smart on bringing in certain individuals that they think they can use, that they could have a storyline for. That would be a good fit in the locker room and on the roster. So I'll take a closer look as we get near the end of the year. Like I think some like people with connections, like you see like EC3s everywhere with the NWA stuff right now. I obviously support a return of that in some way, depending on what they're looking like, how they're utilizing their talent. But I know he just won the title at OVW from Jesse, former Impact guy. Spud, yeah, no, I'd be on board with Spud. Lot of good talent that is, like we were just talking about, like looking at these matches over the history during even Thanksgiving. Like Alley, we saw would not be a bad return there. There's obviously people at other companies that are not being used or will probably be free agents soon. So, and obviously you got people that aren't currently with the company, but they don't look there anywhere else. Like I still think Sammy Callahan returns. Until I see him elsewhere, I think we're going to see him maybe as early as Hard to Kill. So, the reverse battle royal. Start off in the ring. Not a bad idea. But unless anybody has anything else, we'll start wrapping it up here as we're ending the Thanksgiving evening here with a little TNI show. The Thanksgiving review special into a little after dark, or maybe more like a family dinner, which is appropriate for Thanksgiving. Because you really need multiple people to do a true family dinner. I mean, to do a true after dark. So, or a family dinner, which you have to be a TNI OG to understand the family dinner. But as I'm kind of winding down here, just want to say how thankful the TNI team is to everybody here that on Thanksgiving had a nice live crowd, which is great to see. Because obviously we had a show tonight, mainly a clip show about the different Thanksgiving themes. But actually, there's a question there about IPW event. Let me double check just to see if they've announced anything. I know their social media wasn't putting a ton out there today with the holiday, but they didn't announce anything during the show about next week. And they still have it. Let me just check the website real quick, make sure they have it. I don't think they have. Probably tomorrow there'll be some More information. Yeah, nothing here. Oh, now here's something. And I actually didn't know this until right now. Starting, I guess, in 30 minutes on shopimpact.com. Use the code Black Friday, one word, to save 20% at shopimpact.com. So if you've been eyeing up anything on the website, definitely check that out. Hit Shop Impact for your shopping needs on Black Friday. Terrence, is it confirmed for next Thursday? I was just still trying to. Obviously, yeah, because it's not a plus show, so it would be on Thursday. I just wasn't sure if it was next Thursday. Mayor, pretty not a ton this weekend. I am going to a show on Saturday. I'm going to the New York Wrestling Connection show up in I guess like Long Island area. So that is where I will be on Saturday. But that is the only show for this weekend. Okay, it was last Thursday. Okay. So yeah, so IPWF then. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. IPWF this Thursday. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't reiterate that tonight, but since it was kind of like the type of show it was, that's not shocking. Oh, there's Justin. We'll definitely be getting those new teams. And you know what? I think I'm going to do the same thing, Justin. I might have to get the "We're effing back" shirt, if you know what I mean. And we'll close it with that because that's obviously we're all thankful for family, friends. Obviously, here the family we have here at the TNI show, but thankful that the buzz that's back with because I think all of us here have been fans for a while, some longer than others, but uh, the return to TNA, the buzz that's back, even though we know since the Anthem era how good the product's been, but not everybody in the wrestling world has been observing it as much as us. And now with TNA, there's a buzz. There's more people that have kind of eyes on it. So I think 2024 is going to be obviously a big year for the company. So definitely thankful to everybody putting in the work to give us this enjoyment we get, this distraction that we enjoy and get to talk about here every Thursday with TNI. But Impact Wrestling, you gotta check it out. Everybody here does, but hopefully, if you just tripped on this, maybe after being in a food coma, you just tripped on the show. Hopefully, you'll come back. You'll watch the return of TNA, and if there's a show, we'll be here to talk about it. So obviously, I appreciate everybody coming in on the holiday here or wherever you're from, just devoting some time here for a little wrestling talk, a little food talk, a little whatever you want to talk about. But my thanks to you. The crew thanks you. And we'll be back next Thursday to talk a little IPWF. We're going to go into Time Machine, which is always fun. But obviously, in the meantime, check us out on all the socials. And if you haven't, definitely hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. And we will see you once again next Thursday. And then in the meantime, the Discord. Definitely hit that Discord because that's where it's 24 hours a day. You're getting, and it's just not wrestling, it's a little bit of everything. So get there, check it out, and you will be able to get your fill of Impact Wrestling and anything else you really want out of life from that Discord. So once again, thanks everybody. We'll see you again real soon. And just take care of each other. Have fun. And we will be back next week. Good night.